What I'm going to do is I'm going to break down some things over the next 20 minutes I was blessed to see through a guy named Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if anybody heard of him. He wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He was also on Oprah Winfrey Show. But anyway, he had came to our church years back. And when he showed me this here, it really changed my life because it got me to look at myself, my financial situation fast, okay? And I'm going to break some things down to you guys because getting into training doesn't make sense if you don't understand what you get involved with. In his book, he got a book out called the Cashflow Quadrant, okay? And in this book, he talks about the 4 avenues of where everybody's income come from, okay? And the first quadrant he put up there was called the E quadrant. This stands for employee quadrant. This means that you work for somebody. Everybody with on that? Now, there are some disadvantages to the E quadrant that is a very detrimental to your health and your life that he brought out, okay? And I want you to write these down. Number 1, if you're an employee for somebody or you work for somebody, you have 0 tax benefits. The only tax benefits you have is you lying on your taxes, claiming other people's kids that's not yours, okay? Some of y'all must know what I'm talking about, okay? Number 2, it is impossible for you to get wealthy working for somebody. A job is a tool and an entity that's not designed for you to get wealthy. It's a job. It's basically designed for you to pay your bills, keep your hounds off you while whoever you work for get rich. Everybody with me on that? Okay? Number 3, they dictate when it's time for you to be hungry. If you're told to be hungry at 12, you better be back here at 1, don't they? All right? Also, what's so unique about a job, and most people spend their whole life in this quadrant, and this is real scary, is that basically 95% of the population in that quadrant will retire broke. Everybody with me on that? Okay? Now also there's some psychological things that's going on in the E quadrant. And what I want you guys to understand, I'm not putting jobs down. I'm just giving you the facts so you can see where you at and where you want to go. Does that make sense? Okay? I want you guys to understand this. I'm an evangelist for network marketing. So I'm just letting you know this up front. Okay? But this is what I want you guys to understand. There's some psychological damages that goes on in the E quadrant. Number 1, a lot of people in the E quadrant, if you present an opportunity to them that is not in the E quadrant, they're very skeptical and they're always seeking security, not knowing that there's 0 security in the job market, right? I have people come up to me and ask me stuff like, well, is the juice environmental safe? Are y'all helping the people in Tahiti? Did you ask them people that on your job when you went to a job interview? No. Right? And it's just amazing, but I'm understanding, I'm a professional in this business, and I see in the E quadrant, that's how people think, because you present them something that's not in the familiar quadrant that they're familiar with. And what people don't understand is that we've been educated through our educational system. See, your educational system is designed for you to go 3 ways when you get out of school. Either you're going to go on to college and work a job, or you're going to come out of high school and work a job, or you're going to go in the military. That's it. That is what it's designed for. And that's where the majority of the population go. Everybody with me on that. And you can see it. How many people remember in elementary, when you came to school, they gave you a smiling face if you did good. If you didn't, they put a bad smiling face. They put a sad face. Or they put the little stars beside you. Now, who remember that? They told you time for you to go to lunch at 12. Time for your lunch period over with at 1. You got in high school, they didn't give you the smiling faces and the stars no more. They gave you a demerit or a merit, and they gave you a good, what they call a perfect attendance award if you came to school every day for the whole year. Who remember that, right? But then they tell you it's time the bell ring at 12, it's time for you to go to lunch. When the bell ring again, it's time for you to come back. Then you go right into the job market. You got to get up and be there at 8 o'clock. You got to clock in. If you late too many times, you get a bad review. And then at 12, they tell you better go to lunch at 12 and you better be unhungry at 1. Don't. Since childhood. That's why it's hard for you to make that shift from a job, from the E quadrant, to owning your own business. That's why most people are so skeptical when it comes to getting into a business. Now, I promise you, if we would have ran a newspaper ad saying that we're going to have a job fair here, you couldn't even get out here on this street. It'll be packed all the way down. But anytime you're talking about an opportunity, people are like, oh, you know, I got a revival this evening. The kids got this. It is amazing. But them be the main people praying every Sunday talking about why I'm broke. Everybody with me on that? So what I'm trying to get you guys to see is I'm trying to get you to take a self-inventory of yourself, okay, as far as the vehicle that you are putting all your time in, the vehicle that you put all your everything in your life in is very important. Because I'm going to tell you when it really hit me is when my dad, after being on his job 38 years, when the son of the company, the son of the owner of the company took over and had some problems with my dad and fired my dad just like that, all his money was cut off, no vacation. He had never had a vacation in 38 years, never missed a day of work, none of that. Broke, no retirement, nothing. See, what I want you guys to understand is you don't want to be at the mercy of the economy or somebody that's an idiot. Are you guys with me on that? Okay. You done dumped all your life, and I see that happen to a lot of people, and it's amazing when I see people get laid off, they look surprised. Why? It's been in the newspaper. It's been all over the place. You working a job. A job is just a necessary interruption between weekends. Are you guys with me on it? Just something that you got to do to pay your bills. But people don't understand that because of the way we've been educated through our educational system. Everybody with me on that? Let's go to the next quadrant. This is called the S quadrant, which stands for the self-employed. These are the people that think that they own a business. These are the people that they own like their little hair salon by themselves, or they're a mechanic, they own their little shop, or they own a business where they have to be there all the time. And I'm going to give you an example. The problem with being self-employed is that you own a job now. Okay, that's why they call it self-employed. Everybody with me on that, okay? And what people don't understand is that when you're self-employed, you don't own a business. You think you own a business. You got the perception of owning a business. But when you own a business, when you're in a B quadrant, let me tell you the difference between a person that's own a business and a self-employed person. Is that a self-employed person income come from their own efforts. A business person income come from a system. Everybody with me on that? Okay? Everybody wants to get in the B quadrant, but they don't understand that the games and the rules in the B quadrant is totally different from the E and the S quadrant. Okay? See, in the E quadrant, you know, your union protect you, your boss protect you, you know, you can hide on the job, you can go and sit in the bathroom and read the newspaper all day. And how many people been on the job, somebody walk around and tell me, I got seniority. Boy, I've been here 30 years, boy. I don't have to clock in like y'all. Who know what I'm saying? I can stay at lunch a little later than y'all. It's a trip, I'm telling you. When I was first introduced to this man, it scared me to death because I was working like a Hebrew slave at Federal Express, trying to climb the corporate ladder, knowing that it doesn't matter what top of the ladder you go to the top of. What matters is what wall that ladder is placed on that you climb it. That is the problem. That's what people are so frustrated. That's why people go postal when they get laid off and they don't understand that you were just on the wrong horse. Everybody with me on that? Okay? Now I'm going to share something with you. In the B quadrant, it is unfair in the B quadrant. They don't care about seniority. It's about production. That's why most people can't handle the rigorous and the mental toughness of being in the B quadrant because you swimming with the sharks. You don't have a union to protect you, and you don't have, you know, a clock to clock in on and all of that. You're on your own time. But the good thing about the B quadrant is you can earn as much money as you want to. And when you don't feel like working, your money still keep coming because it's built off a system, not off your own personal efforts. See, in the S quadrant, you can't even train nobody down there to do what you do because if you do, they're going to set up shop somewhere else, and then they're going to become your competitor. Everybody with you on that? You can't take vacations because you're a prisoner of your own business. Okay? Everybody with you on that? Now, the last quadrant is something called the I quadrant. This is where you want to end up at in your elderly years. This stands for investment quadrant. This is when your money make more money than you can ever make working for a living. See, in order to get wealth in the United States, two things got to happen. One or two things. Either people got to be at work or money got to be at work. Everybody with me on that? Okay?